Today we're gonna be making sun catchers, which are so much fun to make. Ironically, it is pouring rain out right now, but I'm hoping for sunny skies later on. If we're just meeting right now, hi, my name is Nisha. Welcome to Little Craft Nest. Today I'll be using Techwrap's static sun catcher window film, and I'll leave a list of all the supplies I use in the description below. Let's get crafting. We're gonna open up a new project in Cricut Design Space. And then we're gonna grab an image. So go over to images, and you can use any image that you want to use. I have two girls who are obsessed with reading. They love their books. So I'm gonna search up book girl and see what comes up. And let's go with this one here, just a girl who loves books. I'm gonna grab that and click on add to canvas. Now, if we click on our design here, it looks like we have a height of 6 inches, and that's perfectly fine. You can make your sun catcher bigger or smaller if you want. It's totally up to you, but I think 6 inches by about 4.5 inches will be just fine. So now I want to create an offset around our image here. So go up to offset, and you'll notice a blue line going all the way around our text here. There are some holes in the middle. We don't want any holes there at all. And I also want to have a really big offset so I'm able to get more of that window cling around the outside, and we can have more sun shining through our design. So I'm gonna grab that little dial there and bring it over to the right. And I have it sized at 0.375 inches, and that looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna click apply. So our top layer here, we're gonna cut this out of vinyl, and this bottom layer here is gonna be our sun catcher window film, and we'll be able to see all the colors through that. So it's not gonna be gray, but it's gonna look spectacular once we cut it out. So our design now is a lot bigger than we originally started out with because we made that offset. So if we click on that offset, you'll notice our size is slightly bigger. We're now at 6.75 inches in height. Let's go ahead and click on make. So on our first mat here, we've got our window cling, and the second mat here, we have our vinyl. You don't need to mirror anything, so you can go ahead and click on continue. Now I've been playing around a lot with the cut settings. You may want to do your own test cuts, but I'm going to show you the setting that worked best for me. So go over to browse all materials, and I'm going to type in holographic, and we're going to select the setting holographic sparkle iron-on mosaic. Now that's a lot of words right there, and there are different variations of those words above it, but this is what you want, the holographic sparkle iron-on mosaic. That is a cut setting of 300. So if you want to make your own cut setting, you can totally do that. I do have a video showing you how to make your own cut settings. So you could come up with a file that says Techwrap window cling, and you'll be able to use that setting. Now the Cricut window cling setting I found was way too light, didn't cut through this material at all, so don't use that setting. So I'm gonna click on that and then click on done. Now you may get a little warning here telling you to mirror your image because you selected an iron-on material. You do not need to mirror your design. So here is our window cling here, and it has 2 layers to it, and I'm going to show you that in a second. First, I'm going to cut this down to size. So we need about 7 inches. I'm going to go a little over just to make sure I have enough. So on one side of this paper, it's going to be smooth, and the other side's going to feel textured. And there's 2 separate layers. Now, if you want, you can put this on your mat all together like this. But what I found most of the time when I put this on my mat and my Cricut started to cut, things started to shift. Because this is static cling and not a sticker, sometimes that top layer does not stay in place when you're cutting. So then it gets caught up in the wheel on your Cricut and everything gets stuck and it totally messes up. A few times when I did it, it did stay in place, but sometimes it doesn't. So if you put your material on your mat and you find it's moving around a lot, you can take that back piece off first and then cut it. So right now, this is actually staying together quite well for me, but sometimes it separates way too easy. So we've got 2 layers here. This is the actual window cling. I'm just gonna peel that right off. And this is the backing that was on it. So what I suggest to do is peel this right off. You can save this for later if you want. If you want to put your window cling design on here afterwards, if you're giving it away, or maybe you're selling your designs, you may want to keep this. But I'm just going to put this aside. And then I'm going to pick up that window cling sheet again. I'm going to make sure the bumpy texture side is facing up at me and the smooth side is going down on the mat. So let me put that back on there. So now that is stuck on there, and when my machine starts cutting, I don't have 2 layers that are gonna detach from each other. I even tried putting both layers down and putting masking tape on the edges, but still, if you have a larger design, it's gonna start crinkling and separating and mess your machine up, and you don't want that to happen. So to be on the safe side, I recommend separating those 2 layers before you begin to cut. So let's go get this cut out. So that only took a few seconds to cut out. It didn't take long at all. Let's see how it looks. So we're peeling off the outside of our design here. So here's the negative. We can cut this off here and save that for another project. And then I have the design here still on my mat. We can take that off, or you can leave it on if you want to use a second mat. I'm just going to use the same mat for my vinyl, so I'm going to peel this off. And then just put this aside. I'm using Tech Wrap's Glitter Mermaid Dark Gray vinyl here, and it's super sparkly, which I thought would be a lot of fun because we're going for sparkles with this sun catcher. I like to use a brayer sometimes just to get that material stuck onto my mat. And with this vinyl, there's actually a clear film on top. So I'm just gonna remove that before I begin to cut. This time we're gonna change our material setting. So under base material, click on that, and we're gonna go over to browse all materials, type in holographic again. But this time we're gonna do the setting holographic sparkle vinyl right here. And then click on done. All right, so it is all cut out, and all I have to do now is weed out the design. So I'm gonna grab my weeding pen here and just weed out the design. So that's all weeded out, and look how cute that looks, but it's gonna look even better in just a minute. So I've got my mat again, and here is our window cling. I'm actually gonna stick this back onto my mat because that's gonna help us out just a little bit having this sticky surface. Make sure you put this back on your mat the right way. You want the textured side facing up at you. So now we need to grab some transfer tape, and I'm gonna cut this down to size first. So we're gonna peel this off the backing. So we've got our sticky transfer tape here, and I'm just gonna apply it on top of the design. I usually kind of do like a taco fold by starting in the middle, putting that down first, and then just letting the sides fall down. Then I've got my scraper or squeegee here, and I'm just gonna varnish this down a little bit. And then we're gonna peel off the backing again. Now, to get this on our sun catcher, because this is rather big, I don't wanna guess and put it in the wrong spot. So I'm gonna use a piece of parchment paper, and I'm gonna have the edge of my sticky transfer paper here Going over top, you want some over top the edge there so we can stick that down. And then I'm gonna try to line it up. Now this is a little tricky to line up because this is transparent. You can see right through it. So it's really hard to see those distinguishing lines, probably even harder for you on the camera. So I have this T sticking up here, and I know that's the highest point of my sun catcher. So I know I want the T to go about there. So I'm gonna line that up first and put that in the middle. And then you can kind of just look at the edges, make sure you're not going over anywhere, and then it seems relatively center. And when you're happy with the position of where it is, you're gonna push down that top sticky edge. And then we can lift up our design and pull that parchment paper out. And then we're gonna slowly lower our design down using our squeegee or scraper, and we'll get that on there. And this is why I put our design back on the sticky mat, is so that it's easier to pull the transfer tape off after. So grab the corner of the transfer tape and just peel that right back. And then you can peel your sun catcher off the mat. You may wanna fold your mat backwards and just roll it off so you don't bend it up too much. And here is our sun catcher. And again, it's not sticky on the back, it's just window cling, so it's gonna stick to your window by static. So let's go find a window and I'll show you how to apply it. The sun has finally come out to play. I'm just cleaning my window. And then all you have to do is spray some water on your window and apply your sun catcher. You can use a cloth to soak up any of the extra water, or you can use a squeegee as well. I made a few more designs here that I'm gonna apply, and these are just looking super cute. You can even see the rainbow reflection on my windowsill. Which one is your favorite? I hope you enjoyed making sun catchers with me today. If you're looking for more crafty tutorials, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you on more crafting adventures.